Side note, I watched clips of a political dinner, an annual charity event in New York, and when the speakers took their turn, each of them would address the dignitaries in attendance, mayors, governors, judges, other office holders, and an archbishop. When the politicians were named, all of them were called the Honorable so-and-so. And everyone addressed the archbishop as Your Excellency. In other places I have advanced my opinion on royalty and the nobility. I find that all very disturbing, and the same goes for all of this honorable stuff and Your Excellency. If someone is truly honorable, they can live without the tag, and anyone who allows himself to be designated Your Excellency needs to be taken down several pegs. This is evidence to me, not of honor or sanctity, but mass delusion. But even as I write that, I know it's wrong. These people know perfectly well what they're doing. It's a game they play. They know that if they act prestigious, high and mighty, and stroke each other, everyone, or nearly everyone, will believe it's true. Now, I was reading Grimm's fairy tales, and then I watched a movie, Roman Holiday, and the story of that film was accredited to Dalton Trumbo. There was a recent movie entitled Trumbo, but I haven't seen it. I know that he was a screenwriter who was called before the House Un-American Activities Committee in the late 1940s and was asked if he was a member of the Communist Party at present or at any time in the past. He refused to answer, was charged with contempt of Congress, found guilty, lost an appeal, and was sent to jail for nearly a year. He was also put on what was then called the blacklist, which meant that he could not find work in Hollywood. He did work, with the credit going to other people or pseudonyms he would adopt. But suddenly, it was not a good time to be a liberal in Hollywood, and there was a great deal of tension there. I thought I should know more about this because I have previously spoken about the Bill of Rights, saying that it is less a law than a luxury, and in turbulent times the rights protecting an individual could be suspended or abrogated in order to serve the interest of national security. I believe I have read or tried to read Trumbo's novel, Johnny Got His Gun. I got the anti-war concept, but I ran out of steam and did not finish it. I checked and found that Trumbo had also written a non-fiction work, The Time of the Toad, subtitled A Study of Inquisition in America. The volume I got from the library included two related pamphlets, The Devil in the Book and Honor Bright and All That Jazz. The late 40s, the 50s, those were tough times indeed. The Cold War, the atomic bomb, intercontinental ballistic missiles, very scary stuff. It was a time when you did not have to advocate violence against the government or teach or encourage others to act against the government. It was sufficient if you believed in communism. Then you were guilty of, in effect, treason. Trumbo wrote, "We have transformed our politics into faith, our way of living into a religion, and our national purpose into a world crusade of absolute good against Satan, utter evil. And if, for whatever reason, the government could find no evidence, why then this very absence of evidence proved how cunning the conspirators were, and therefore how dangerous, and therefore how guilty." It was a time of fear. It was not a good time for trust or reason. Trumbo did not lose all hope. "It is quite impossible to exaggerate the glories of good sense," he wrote. "It may be true, it is a blessing, but it can be damnably difficult to identify it at times, and it can be in perilously low supply when it's needed most, in what he identifies as a time of hysteria." Trumbo uses many big words and arcane words. He throws them out like knives and bowling balls. I would not know their meanings, and many times I would go on reading, guessing at what he meant. A bad policy. One such word was tergiversation. It means desertion of a cause, party, or faith, as well as an evasion of straightforward action or clear-cut statement. The word applies to these times in several penetrating ways. I'll close by asking this. Is freedom a gift granted and protected by the government? Is freedom codified and preserved by law? or is freedom living in the minds and hearts of the individual members of a society? I would say that all three could claim a stake, that all three could stake a claim. And the interests of these three can, at times, conflict. In such times, it will always be the lesser light, the individual, who suffers. Dalton Trumbo found that out, to his great dismay.